Imagine if I told you that just a few words could change your life, that a single sentence could give you the courage to overcome obstacles, the wisdom to make the right decisions, and the strength to keep going, even when everything feels impossible. Would you believe it? Today, I'm going to share with you 5 quotes, just a few powerful lines that, if you really listen, can transform the way you see the world, and maybe, just maybe, change your life forever. Think about this. Every great leader, every visionary, every successful person who has ever walked this earth has had their life shaped by words. They've held on to these words, these quotes, as guiding lights in times of darkness. So what if the same could be true for you? What if right here, right now you found the words that would turn your life around? Let's dive into the first one from none other than Franklin D. Roosevelt. He once said, "The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today." Think about that for a moment. It sounds simple, but it's profoundly deep. This quote speaks to each one of us, doesn't it? Because we all have dreams for tomorrow, things we want to achieve, places we want to go, goals we've set for ourselves. But how often do we hold ourselves back? Not because of real obstacles, but because of our own doubts and insecurities. Roosevelt wasn't just speaking to the people of his time, he was speaking to all of us. He was reminding us that the biggest barrier to our future is the uncertainty we carry inside ourselves. Think of a time when you wanted to do something big, maybe start a new project, apply for a dream job, or even make a major life change. But then that little voice crept in whispering, "What if I'm not good enough? Or what if I fail?" But that doubt, that's what Roosevelt is talking about. It's a thief stealing our tomorrows before they even arrive. Imagine for a second, if you could silence that voice of doubt. Picture a version of yourself, a powerful, unstoppable version, where doubt doesn't hold you back. What could you achieve? What dreams could you bring to life? Roosevelt's words remind us that our doubts are just shadows. They seem big, but in reality, they're intangible. And the moment we step through them, they disappear. Next, let's talk about another powerful quote from a man who believed in dreams, even when they felt impossible. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." I want you to close your eyes and imagine that staircase for a moment. Picture it in your mind, a tall, grand staircase, but only the first step is visible. The rest is hidden in the shadows. You don't know where it leads. You can't see the end, but you're standing at the edge of that first step. Now ask yourself, do you have the courage to take it? King's words teach us something so fundamental, yet so often forgotten, that we don't need to have everything figured out to move forward. We don't need to see every step, every twist, every turn. All we need is faith. Just the courage to take that first step, to trust that the path will reveal itself as we go. Because that's how life works, isn't it? Opportunities don't come fully formed. Success doesn't arrive with a roadmap. It's about taking that leap, believing that each step will bring us closer to where we're meant to be. When King led his people in the fight for civil rights, he didn't know how things would unfold. He didn't have guarantees. He had doubt and he had fear. But what he also had was faith. Faith in his vision, faith in his purpose, and faith that each step, no matter how uncertain, would bring them closer to justice. And that's what each of us needs too, that quiet, unshakable faith. That even if we can't see the whole path, the first step is worth taking. Now let's move to a quote from Steve Jobs, a man who changed the world with his innovations and left behind words that continue to inspire millions. Jobs said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." And let that sink in for a moment. Every day, every minute, we're spending time that we'll never get back. And too often, we waste it chasing someone else's dream, living up to someone else's expectations, trying to fit into a mold that society, family, or friends have shaped for us. But what about our own dreams, our own passions, our own unique path? Jobs is urging us to realize that life is short, and every moment we spend living according to someone else's vision is a moment we're not living fully. Imagine if he had listened to the naysayers, the people who told him to follow a traditional path. Imagine if he had let others dictate his choices. We might not have the iPhone, the Mac, or even the concept of a personal computer. Jobs followed his vision, even when it went against the grain, even when people thought he was crazy. And that's what he's telling us to do, to dare to live our own lives, no matter what anyone else thinks. What if starting today, you decided to live for yourself, to chase the things that truly matter to you, to stop being afraid of disappointing others, and instead focus on not disappointing yourself? Job's words are a wake-up call, reminding us that time is ticking, and if we want to live a life that's truly ours, we can't afford to waste a second more. And now we come to the words of a woman who has inspired generations, Oprah Winfrey. She once said, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." Often we think of adventure as something external, skydiving, traveling to exotic places, climbing mountains. But Oprah challenges us to think differently. She tells us that the greatest adventure is within. It's daring to live in pursuit of our dreams, even when it's scary, even when it feels impossible. Consider what it would be like to truly live the life of your dreams, to wake up each day excited, energized, and passionate about what you're doing. Imagine the feeling of pursuing a goal so meaningful that it lights you up from within. That's the adventure Oprah is talking about. The journey of finding our purpose, of chasing our dreams, of living a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. And yes, it's hard. It requires bravery, resilience, and sometimes going against the grain. But isn't that what makes it an adventure? Finally, let's reflect on the wisdom of Albert Einstein. He said, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving." Simple yet profound. Life isn't meant to be stagnant. It's not about staying in one place, safe and comfortable. It's about growth, progress, and continuous movement. Just like on a bicycle, the moment we stop moving, we lose our balance. Think about a time when you felt stuck, maybe in a job, a relationship, or a situation that felt like it was holding you back. How did it feel? Heavy, right? That's because, like Einstein said, we're not meant to stand still. We're meant to keep moving forward, to keep pushing, learning, evolving. Life will throw obstacles in our way, and there will be times when the path is tough. But as long as we keep moving, we keep growing, we keep finding our balance. These quotes are more than just words. They are guiding lights, reminders that we're capable of so much more than we often believe. If we embrace Roosevelt's wisdom to cast aside our doubts, follow King's example of faith in the unseen, heed Job's call to live our own lives, take on Oprah's challenge to pursue our dreams, and remember Einstein's advice to keep moving, then there's no limit to what we can achieve. Today, take these words, let them sink in, and carry them with you, because sometimes a few words, when truly understood, can change everything. Now that we've talked about the power of words and how these famous quotes can serve as guiding lights, let's dive even deeper into each message and see how we can weave them into our own lives. One step at a time, imagine you're walking alongside these great figures, learning directly from their experiences and wisdom. What if these words weren't just meant for their time, but could actually serve as keys to unlock our potential right now? Starting with Roosevelt's quote, "The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today." Think about that sentence for a moment. Imagine standing on the edge of a great adventure, a future waiting just for you. It's filled with endless opportunities, dreams you've held close, and goals that could bring true fulfillment. But between you and that future, there's a fog. This fog isn't made up of actual barriers. It's made of doubts, the tiny voices in your mind whispering things like, "What if I can't do it?" Or "What if I'm not enough?" But here's a story that brings this to life. Think of Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb. Can you imagine the doubts he must have faced after thousands of failed attempts? Each failure could have been a solid reason to give up. But for Edison, every setback was just a stepping stone. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What Roosevelt is telling us aligns perfectly with Edison's spirit. The only limits we truly face are the ones we place on ourselves. The moment we start to believe that our dreams are unreachable, they become so. Now imagine you're standing in front of your own dream. It could be starting a business, writing a book, changing careers, whatever. That next big thing is for you. As you stand there, ask yourself, what if there were no doubts? What if I truly believed in myself? That's what Roosevelt is asking of us. To drop those limitations and step boldly toward what we truly want, unshackled by fear and self-doubt. Because the reality is, doubts are just shadows that we can pass through with courage. Let's go back to Martin Luther King Jr. His powerful reminder, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Life doesn't come with a map. If we wait for every step to be perfectly clear, we'll stand still forever. King didn't know what each day would bring, but he stepped forward because he had faith in his vision and purpose. Imagine a young college student, scared about the future, unsure of which path to take. Maybe they're overwhelmed by choices, wondering if they should follow a safe career or chase a passion that might not pay off right away. King's words are like a beacon here, reminding us that the first step is what matters. Often it's that first uncertain step that gives us the courage to take the next. So if you're someone standing on the edge, waiting for the fog to clear, remember, life isn't about waiting for certainty. It's about trusting that each step will illuminate the path just a little more each time. And the more you trust, the more the path will reveal itself. Now let's turn to Steve Jobs. His words, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life," hit home in a way that many of us can relate to. Jobs was the kind of person who didn't just live life, he created it. He built his own path, refusing to let society dictate his dreams. What Jobs is reminding us here is that there is no greater loss than living a life that isn't truly ours. Yet so many of us fall into this trap, chasing the expectations set by others, following a path that isn't aligned with who we truly are. Jobs himself faced countless challenges and people who doubted him. Imagine if he had settled for a conventional life, ignoring his passion and creativity. Imagine if he had let his fear of failure dictate his choices. The world might never have seen the innovations he brought, but he chose to follow his inner voice, even when it led him down paths no one had dared to explore before. That's the legacy he left us, a reminder that our lives are too precious to be lived according to someone else's blueprint. Think about your own life. Are there places where you're following someone else's path? It could be as simple as choosing a career because it's what your parents wanted, or living a lifestyle that doesn't feel right for you. Jobs' words are an invitation to step away from those expectations and live according to your own dreams. Because, at the end of the day, your life is yours to live, not anyone else's. Oprah Winfrey's message, the biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams, reminds us that real adventure isn't found outside, it's within. Oprah faced hardships that could have easily held her back. She came from humble beginnings and faced many obstacles, but she didn't let her circumstances dictate her destiny. Instead, she took the leap, turning her dreams into reality through sheer determination and the belief that she was meant for something greater. Imagine what it feels like to truly go after your dreams. It's both thrilling and terrifying, isn't it? The unknown, the risks, the fears, it's all part of the adventure, but that's what makes it worth it. Oprah's journey shows us that when we dare to live the life we've imagined, every challenge becomes a stepping stone, every setback a lesson. The path may be hard, but it's uniquely yours. Finally, Einstein's quote, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving." Here's the thing about life, it doesn't stop. Time moves forward. Challenges come and go, and life keeps evolving. If we stop moving, stop growing, stop pushing forward, we lose balance. Einstein reminds us that life is about progress, not perfection. Even when things get tough, even when we're tired, we have to keep going, because that's where growth happens. Take a moment and think about a time in your life when you faced an uphill battle. Maybe it was a personal struggle, a career setback, or a time when nothing seemed to go your way. What kept you going? Often it's that inner push, that belief that as long as we keep moving, we'll find our way. Einstein's words tell us that momentum is key. Even if we take small steps, as long as we keep going, we stay balanced. So, how can we bring all of these powerful messages together? Start by asking yourself what's holding you back today. Is it doubt, like Roosevelt warned us about? Or are you waiting for a clear path, as King's quote speaks to? Maybe you're living according to someone else's expectations, like Jobs warned us against. Or maybe you've forgotten the thrill of chasing a dream, as Oprah's words encourage. Or perhaps you're standing still, afraid to move forward, forgetting that life is about balance and movement. As Einstein reminds us, each quote is like a puzzle piece, a part of the bigger picture of living a fulfilled, meaningful life. Let them guide you. Let them remind you that greatness isn't reserved for a select few. It's within each of us, waiting to be unlocked. The wisdom of these great figures isn't locked. in history books or destined for others. It's here for us to apply, to believe and to live by. As you move forward from today, keep these words close to your heart. Let them be your reminders on days when doubt creeps in, when fear takes hold, or when the path seems unclear. Remember that every great achievement began with a single step, fueled by faith, courage, and resilience. And maybe, just maybe, these words will be the spark that lights your path, helping you realize that the life of your dreams is closer than you think.